4 hours. Yuriy Sak's an advisor to the Ukrainian defence minister.
We have been saying for, since day one of this aggressive war against Ukraine, our goal is the complete liberation of our land, and we are fighting tooth and nail for every meter, for every village, for every town. So, of course, when we hear the news, even if it's unconfirmed, but, at least it's reported by official authorities in the aggressor country, then, of course, it gives us optimism. But, we have to be careful with don't jump to any conclusions, and it's too early to celebrate.
OK, well, tell us what it means for how Ukraine is then advancing into that space.
Since October 1st, our armed forces have moved deep into the territory of the temporarily occupied by the enemy in the Kherson region, up to 36.5 kilometers. We've been able to liberate about 1,400 square kilometers, 41 villages and towns. But what we can say that every time Russians make the so-called gesture of goodwill and regroup, in inverted commas, their forces, it is because of the super efficient efforts of the Ukrainian armed forces. This is what we've done in Kyiv, in Chernihiv, in Kharkiv, in the Snake Island, and now this is happening around Kherson and in the Kherson region.
There's been a suggestion that you're nervous that it could be a trap.
We're not trying to read the minds in that way of the enemy. What we rely on when planning our military operations, of course, is intelligence. So every military operation on a tactical as well as strategic level, of course, is based on intelligence that we receive from the relevant authorities in the military. Maybe it will be a trap, maybe they are trying to set up a trap, maybe they are not. For us, it is important to rely on intelligence, and we will not haste into any operation without properly assessing all the risks.
In the areas you've retaken, what have you found? How have the Russians left those areas?
We have found Ukrainian citizens who are grateful to the Ukrainian army for liberating them. In the Kherson region, we have also found usual hallmarks of the Russian, in inverted commas, liberators, looting. They've been stealing things. You've heard the reports that during the last 2 weeks, they've been looting Kherson on a daily basis. They've taken out exhibits from museums, statues, works of art. They've deported people from Kherson, Ukrainian nationals, over 80,000. So overall, it's the same trace of evidence of war crimes. We have not discovered yet atrocities on a scale that there have been in places like Bucha or Irpin or Mariupol. But we cannot be sure that we won't discover it once we continue the liberation of Kherson and the Kherson region.
Of course, votes in the US election are still being counted. But are you nervous by Republicans taking control over the House of Representatives because they have said they are opposed to much more spending on Ukraine?
We, as a country, we respect the democratical procedures in other countries. What we have seen from the beginning of this aggressive war against our country is that the U.S. has given Ukraine a bipartisan support, and we hope that this will continue. And we have seen that top U.S. officials as well have said the same thing. Everybody hopes that the bipartisan support will continue because this is a war that Ukraine is fighting, not just for our people and our land. This is a war we are fighting against, evil, against a threat to global freedom and global values.
Yuriy Sak there.